What's up, guys? It's me, Straw Hat Nate, and I'm bringing back one of my personal favorite series, the seasonal anime review. With winter 2025 season coming to a close, it's the perfect time to go over the best shows of this season, at least the best shows of what I've watched. It was certainly a stacked season, as almost every single season is stacked nowadays, but there are just certain shows that stand above the rest. And I'll be going through all the shows that I've watched from most to least popular, but remember, popularity doesn't always equate to quality. Before we start, some honorable mentions that I will not discuss in this video are Dr. Stone and ReZero, because I'm not caught up to them and it would feel dishonest to rank them here. Also, feel free to comment if you disagree with any of my takes in this video. I'd like to hear your opinions. Now, let's start from the top after you like the video and subscribe to the channel. First off, we have the sensation that everyone and their mother talks about, Solo Leveling Season 2. This season of Solo Leveling pushes the boundaries of animation like I've never seen before. While many shows might have like one or two crazy animated fights, Solo Leveling has at least one extraordinarily animated fight every episode. That's all you're really getting out of Solo Leveling: crazy fights and crazy animation and crazy hype, but that's all it needs to deliver, and it delivers it successfully. Jinwoo has grown to the point this season where he's already like the strongest human, so it's satisfying to watch him basically aura farm against all of his opponents. And I really appreciated the moment when Jinwoo cured his mother, because that was a far more emotional scene than anything we've ever seen in the show. And also, I heard that the anime does a better job at fleshing out the side characters, which is really appreciated because it always feels like Jinwoo is taking up all the screen time. Since Solo Leveling Season 2 exceeds in everything it tries to do, I'll give it an S tier on my list to start it out. Next up, we have Sakamoto Days, a highly anticipated new release, and it surprised me how much I liked it because so many people were hating on it online. And it's overall a really funny story surrounding Sakamoto and his family / friends as he tries to escape the gang life, basically, because all these mafia members and stuff try to hunt him down all the time. And it gives a really similar vibe to Gintama with the mix of comedy and action, and Gintama is one of my personal favorites. The comedy and action are well mixed, and the episodic feeling of the show makes it so that it's never boring. One aspect that is done really well, in my opinion, is the mystery of the villains, who all seem really powerful. I enjoyed the introduction of many characters, both good and bad, because this season introduces hella characters. So I'll give Sakamoto Days an A tier because I found a lot of enjoyment in it, and I see great potential in the series. Now let's talk about another sequel, Apothecary Diaries Season 2. This season of Apothecary Diaries does everything that Season 1 did, so it meets expectations. Romance between Mao Mao and Jinshi builds up more and more in this season, complicating their relationship and growing towards some sort of love confession. And just like Sakamoto Days, this show has an episodic feeling, which helps making every week fresh and new. It's an overall beautiful story that explores the depth and mysteries of the Emperor's Palace, and it does not have any huge moments like the first season, so that might hold back my ranking just a little bit. I think I'll give it a B tier when I would have gave Season 1 an A tier, but don't get me wrong, it's still a beautiful, stunning anime, and one of the bests of the season. Next, we can talk about the second core of Blue Box. This has quickly established itself as one of my favorite romance anime ever. I personally enjoy romance anime that are more grounded in realism, such as Horimiya, for example, rather than wacky concepts that are usually forced. That is what this show is, a grounded love triangle between Taiki, Chinatsu, and Hina that is mixed in with their love for sports, with a focus more on Hina in this season. It is a stunning anime, once again, showing off so much emotion without ever being over the top. The show continues with the first core setup of the love triangle, and it continues by showing Taiki's inability to make a choice in who to love. And I personally like this anime, so I'll give Blue Box Core 2 an A tier on my ranking. Now, we have the 100 girlfriends who really, 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 really love you. This list was starting to feel very top heavy because a lot of times the more popular shows are, in fact, the better shows, but this can kind of change up the pace of the rankings. This anime is not serious and it doesn't want to be, so I'll give it points for that, but I can't generally put this high at all. There's so many moments that are just gross because of the fact that some of Rento's girlfriends look like little children. Although I'll give it props for continuing to find a way to keep it fresh despite the stale repeating concept of Rentaro just getting new girlfriend after new girlfriend. But unless if you want to watch something that is disgusting to human morals, I would not recommend this, so it gets the first F on this list. Next up on this list is Shangri-La Frontier, Season 2, Core 2. This show is pretty solid for the most part, and Sunraku, the main character, definitely carries both the humor and the hypeness of the show. This season animated the arc where he's underwater and the arc where they fight the American team in an esports tournament, but it doesn't complete either of these arcs, which is super disappointing to me. The good thing is Season 3 is already confirmed to be coming very soon because of the love people seem to have for this show. So those arcs will be finished soon enough. And in my opinion, it's just a Sword Art Online, but better. It surprisingly has amazing animation for a show of its popularity, which helps keep the show fun and enjoyable all the time. Since this season was great, but not really complete in my eyes, I'm drawn to give it a B tier on the list, but it has potential to go higher. Now, we can finally get to another new anime, which isn't a sequel, with Zenshu. This is basically an isekai where an animator, Natsuko, gets reincarnated into one of her favorite childhood movies, so she's already familiar with the world she's isekai'd into. It's a pretty solid, complete show that tells the complete story in just 12 episodes, something that's super rare for anime nowadays. And it's visually stunning, which is expected for anime with a focus being about animation. But I think the dichotomy between the silly characters and the seriousness of what the final threat ends up being is kind of a downside of the show. And I think that the main gist of Natsuko using her drawing power to defeat every enemy gets a little bit repetitive and stale. So I'm going to give Zenshu a B tier because it's a pretty solid show, but it doesn't do anything superb like the ones above it. Next up, we'll get back into sequels with Blue Exorcist Season 5. I have not been a fan of Blue Exorcist, to say the least, because of the studio change, so I'll spoil that the ranking it gets isn't the best. I feel like this season is at least a little better than some of the recent seasons because of the new setting of the past is pretty interesting, with a focus on Shiro and Yuri, Rin's parents, instead of Rin himself. I liked the past setting at first, but there was kind of no need to extend it for as long as they did a full entire season. I will say, where it leaves off though is pretty hype, having Rin and Yukio be face to face, with Rin being a changed person now. So in the end, I still don't really like this show very much, and it gets a C tier because it's simply just mid. Finally, the last show I'll talk about is Link Click Season 3, one of the most underrated shows of the season. For those who don't know, Link Click is a Chinese anime, not a Japanese one, which means it's a bit different from the rest of the shows. When I say different though, I mean better, because Link Click is a show about Chang Jiaoxi and Lu Guang as they use their time travel powers in order to fix issues which they're paid for to fix. In this season though, it basically all takes place in the past, before Jiaoxi even learned about his powers, because Lu Guang has to travel back then in order to save Jiaoxi in the present. I won't spoil from what, but it gets explained in the show. Link Click excels at giving amazing characters in every single arc, and the main characters are some of the best ones. So a story with a focus on just the main characters is a great story to tell. I genuinely think that this is one of the best anime that I have ever watched. So while I still prefer season 1 over season 3, I'll have to give it an S tier on my ranking because it's just that good. And that concludes all the shows that I watched last season. It was an overall great season, with most shows being above average at least. I wish I could have ranked Dr. Stone and ReZero because I love those shows, but as I said earlier, I can't because I'm not caught up to them. One last time, I'll put the complete ranking up on the screen, just in case if anyone wants to use this as recommendations or something. While everyone online just seems to want to talk about Solo Leveling, I would say that there are a few other great shows this season that are definitely worth the watch. So if you made it to the end of this video, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to show your support, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.